Hi everybody, it's Friday. It's time to talk about the markets with Jim Cramer on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. All right, Jim, we know Fridays aren't necessarily your favorite day for the markets in recent
Friday
times.
it's one of the reasons why I think the futures were down last night, even though we had such great earnings, is that everyone kind of knows that going into a weekend has gotten quite difficult. I was talking with my writing partner, Matt Horween, who was saying, okay, Jim, now you got to switch focus. It was Korea, now you got to start thinking about Iran. And what the president does with Iran, particularly with Macron saying he felt that the president was going to repudiate the Iran deal. So there's always something with the president that makes it, over the weekend, that makes you concerned. At the same time, they put out people on the weekend shows, on Fox typically, which tell you that maybe things aren't so bad. But the tension of a president who has become very, let's say, much less attuned to the stock market, it's obviously what his first year was about that, makes it so it's very hard to go into a weekend without ringing the register.
Interesting, though, to still worry about tariffs, and we saw the markets pop a little bit on your interview with Larry Kudlow yesterday.
Yeah, well, I mean, it had to, because Larry is optimistic. Larry is saying, don't worry, things will be, he's confident things will work out. I'm not nearly as confident, in part because the president is a negotiator, and Larry may be playing good cop to the bad cop of the president.
Very encouraging, though, to see these tech earnings. In real money, you liken what we're seeing with the data center to what we saw with the PC in the 1990s.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the era when Andy Grove, the late CEO of Intel, so brilliant, was talking about when the 486 went to the Pentium, that really we might be in the early innings of PC adoption, and the stock doubled. It went from, right before that, it had gone from about $1.5 to $3 dollars. And people were saying, well, listen, it's already doubled. We probably missed the move. Then the next thing you know, the stock goes to 70. So I think that when Satya Nadella says we're in the early innings of cloud adoption, as he did in his excellent Microsoft call, got to take him seriously.
And more on Microsoft in our Action Alerts Plus video after this. Meanwhile, Jim, we know Amazon had that monster earnings beat. We also got a nice earnings beat from Chevron by about 40 or 50 cents.
Yeah, I mean, Chevron in the old days used to be the most levered oil price other than Occidental. And the old days are back, and the Chevron quarter was extraordinary. Chevron used to be a big buyer of its own stock. Obviously, I think they can come back and do that and raise the dividend. It's a very good company, very well-run company. Keeps its head down, knows the grindstone, and it was both upstream and downstream very, very good. No flaws in that quarter.
And with the rise of oil prices, it sounds like we'll see more of these oil companies start to ramp up investing.
They should, if they have the capital, yes. Some of them, I think, have to come to the stock market to be able to raise. But I do like. We for Action Alerts have a little exposure. We have not handled the oil stocks that well, in part because if an oil company becomes more of a natural gas company, it's very bad. And Chevron's become more and more of an oil company.
And then last night on Mad Money, you had Patrick Doyle from Domino's on the air.
Yeah, I went out with Patrick after dinner and the new CEO, and I got to tell you, I'm so impressed with the taste of the pizza. I know people hate me to say that, but that's because you haven't had it. And I want you to have a tomato pie. Try it. It's very few calories. The app will ask you whether you want cheese. You press no cheese, and then it will ask you, are you sure you want no cheese? Patty, I'm the only other person of his father called him that, I has always said that was my doing because I have vegetarian daughters. And I said, could you please have a no cheese option? And he said, yeah, but people want cheese. I said, I don't know, we'll make it, put a thing there which says, are you sure you want no cheese? And bingo. And by the way, India, fastest growing market. Why? No cheese.
Incredible. Well, and Jim, I was struck by his program where he's trying to help employees actually open their own franchise.
What his legacy will be that drivers, delivery people, have been the stalwarts in terms of building new stores. I'll tell you something that's going to be very interesting because he does a lot of technology. Autonomous cars, autonomous drivers mean no tips. So people will like that because tips can be up to 20%. And autonomous drivers means you can go down there and not necessarily have to have your best clothes on because no one's going to be looking at you. Kind of an interesting thing, that and hotspots, being able to deliver pizza somewhere, anywhere, to me, just say this company, which sells 1 out of every 6 pizzas, is going to go to 2 out of every 6 pizzas over the next few years.
All right, Jim, we'll be watching for your game plan of next week tonight on Mad Money.
We chart. We're now charting through Bruce Kamich the stocks that I talk about on Mad Money, and a lot of people are really crazy about it. And they want to see an entry point, and I do too. And Bruce's work is amazing. So it's not just that we have the best recap, but we also have charts for all the stocks that are mentioned on Mad Money.
And Jim, we should also remind everyone about your investing boot camp next Saturday, May 5th, right here in New York.
Yes.
It's going to be an exciting time, and people can go to events.thestreet.com/teachin to buy a ticket.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
You'll be interviewing the PayPal CEO, Dan Schulman.
Yes.
All right, Jim, we're going to continue talking about stocks on actionalertsplus.com. Please join us there.